Karmelo Anthony, the kid that stabbed another kid at a track meet a few weeks ago in Frisco, Texas, is now selling merch with his face on it now that he's gotten out of jail. This is a website here that started to make its rounds just earlier today called Justice for Karmelo, where it's a website selling merch with his face on it.
You hear the crowd before you see it. Chants erupt like thunder in the streets of Texas, signs waving, fists raised. Somewhere in the middle of it all, Karmelo Anthony stands at the front. Not in uniform, not on a court, but on concrete, surrounded by hundreds who believe in him, who chant for him, who rage for him. You don't know whether it was planned or if it spiraled, but what started as a peaceful protest quickly became a headline you weren't ready to read. Multiple BLM supporters arrested after violent rally for Karmelo Anthony. That sentence feels heavier than it looks. It wasn't supposed to go like this. He wasn't supposed to become the symbol of something this volatile. But when video footage surfaced last week of Karmelo allegedly confronting law enforcement over the handling of his cousin's wrongful death case, the internet ignited. Thousands rallied to his defense. BLM organizers in Texas announced a protest within 48 hours. And that's where things went wrong. You saw the live streams. Protesters clashing with riot squads, smoke grenades being thrown, voices cracking mid-chant. What was supposed to be a stand for justice turned into an explosion of rage, and Karmelo, standing silent in the eye of the storm, could only watch. What happens when a celebrity becomes the face of a movement they never officially joined? How much control do you really have once your name gets attached to chaos? You're about to find out. Because this isn't just a protest, it's not just a headline, it's the beginning of a public unraveling, and you're watching it happen in real time. Was this all spontaneous? Or was someone behind the scenes pushing this rally into chaos? You scroll through video after video, but they all start the same way, peaceful. A crowd gathered, people holding signs, someone with a megaphone yelling, "Justice for Karmelo," then something shifts. You can't quite tell what triggered it, but you see it. A water bottle flies, then a baton swings, and suddenly the crowd is no longer chanting, they're screaming. You watch a young woman in a BLM shirt shoved to the pavement. You hear someone yell, "They just tackled him," and in the chaos, you see what nobody expected. People being dragged away in zip ties, protesters slammed against cop cars, sirens wailing louder than the chants. In the middle of it, you see a man in a Free Karmelo hoodie being handcuffed. That clip, it's already gone viral. You watch as his face is pressed to the concrete while officers wrestle another protester beside him. This wasn't about justice anymore. This was about control. The final tally? 14 arrests, 7 hospitalized, dozens detained, questioned, and released. And none of them were violent before it all fell apart. Most of them? College kids, local organizers, everyday people who thought they were marching to support someone wrongfully targeted. You ask yourself, how did this get so big, so fast? But the answer isn't clear. Some say it was a planned ambush by agitators. Others blame a tactical overstep by police. What's undeniable is that Karmelo's name was the banner under which it all unraveled. Now, with headlines spinning and footage of arrests flooding social media, the world is watching. And you wonder, is this what Karmelo wanted? Or is he just the face on the front line of a war he never declared? Either way, this rally may have just changed everything. You wake up the next morning thinking it might have all calmed down, but instead the storm's only gotten louder. Your feed is now filled with mugshots, names, charges, unlawful assembly, obstruction of justice, resisting arrest. Some of the people you saw being dragged away yesterday, they're being held without bail. One of them, an organizer from Houston, now faces felony charges for allegedly inciting violence. You see her sister crying on live TV, swearing that she did nothing but chant with a sign in her hand, and just when it feels like things can't get messier, Karmelo's name starts to appear in the official police reports. Not as a suspect, not yet, but as a possible influential party in triggering mass civil unrest. You read that phrase over and over, it doesn't even make full legal sense, but you know exactly what they're doing. They're laying the groundwork to shift blame, to make Karmelo the reason this whole thing blew up. You think back to the rally. He never yelled, he didn't throw a punch, he didn't even speak into the mic, but he was there, standing in front. And that image alone may now come with a legal price tag. Sources close to the police say they're gathering surveillance footage to determine whether his presence incited additional aggression. You read that and ask yourself, so simply being there now makes you guilty? And here's the real twist. Karmelo's lawyer? He hasn't made a statement yet. No denial, no clarification, just silence. You know how this works. Silence invites interpretation, and interpretation becomes narrative. So now the question isn't just what happened at the rally, it's whether Karmelo Anthony is about to be dragged into court, not as a symbol, but as a suspect. You thought the violence was the climax. But this? This is where the real war begins. The war of perception. Your timeline splits in half. One side is calling Karmelo Anthony a hero. He stood up when most celebrities hide behind their PR teams. You see clips of him standing at the rally being posted with captions like, "Our MLK in sneakers." Hashtag justice for Karmelo trends overnight. Then the other side enters. Pundits, politicians, right-wing influencers. NBA thug sparks violent BLM riot. Why is no one holding Karmelo Anthony accountable? You can't look away. On live TV, a conservative senator holds up a photo of the rally and says, "This is why professional athletes should stick to basketball, not street politics." Meanwhile, celebrities start posting cryptic responses, some supportive, some carefully neutral. One major pop artist deletes a tweet defending Karmelo after backlash floods her mentions. Another actor reposts the footage with just one word, enough. But what stings most? The NBA remains silent. You know how this goes. Behind closed doors, PR teams are debating whether to stand behind him or start creating distance. Because while Karmelo hasn't been charged, his name is now tied to violence, unrest, and civil disobedience, all in an election year. You can feel it happening in real time. Every clip, every hashtag, every misquoted line from the rally is becoming evidence, not for the court, but for the culture war. You wonder if Karmelo sees it too, that he's no longer a man to these people. He's a headline, a symbol, a target. And now the stakes are no longer just legal, they're personal, they're national. Next, the judge finally speaks, and so does Karmelo. Real one. Keep speaking out. You're the reason they burned half the city. Support and hate, praise and blame, all flooding into one place. His voice now part of the storm. You stare at the post, and something shifts. Karmelo didn't just break his silence, he accepted the weight. And with that one sentence, he signaled something loud and clear. He's not backing down. You wonder what that means. For the movement, for the charges, for the people still locked up after the rally. Because now, whether he wanted to or not, Karmelo has become the face of this entire thing. And once that happens, the system doesn't just let you walk away. Real one. Keep speaking out. You're the reason they burned half the city. Support and hate, praise and blame, all flooding into one place. His voice now part of the storm. You stare at the post, and something shifts. Karmelo didn't just break his silence, he accepted the weight. And with that one sentence, he signaled something loud and clear. He's not backing down. You wonder what that means. For the movement, for the charges, for the people still locked up after the rally. Because now, whether he wanted to or not, Karmelo has become the face of this entire thing. And once that happens, the system doesn't just let you walk away. You thought it was all about Karmelo. The rally, the arrests, the headlines. His name has carried all of it. But then, out of nowhere, the cameras shift. To his parents. You see them stepping out of a courthouse, surrounded by reporters. His mother holds a manila envelope tight against her chest. His father keeps his head down, silent. At first, it's just background noise. Then a journalist shouts the question that breaks everything open. Is it true you used protest donations to pay off personal debts? You freeze. Wait, what? And suddenly the headlines explode. Karmelo Anthony's parents under scrutiny after rally donations raise questions. You dig deeper. Local news reports say nearly $500,000 was raised within 72 hours of the rally announcement, mostly through donation links posted under BLM hashtags and Karmelo fan pages. But here's the twist. The account that received the bulk of those funds, it wasn't Karmelo's foundation. It was a personal PayPal tied to his father's business. You feel your stomach drop. Now investigators are asking where that money went. One document alleges 2 car payments were made, a credit card debt cleared, a down payment processed on a rental property. And suddenly, this isn't just a protest gone wrong, it's a potential fraud case. Karmelo hasn't commented yet, but sources close to him say he's furious and blindsided, and now the public is split all over again. Some say his parents are being targeted, others say they've betrayed everything their son stood for. But here's the part you can't shake. If the donation trail leads back to the rally, and the rally led to arrests, then this case just grew 10 more legs. You're expecting silence, maybe another vague Instagram post. Instead, Karmelo Anthony calls a press conference, live. No PR buffer, no prepared statement, just him, a mic, and a room full of flashing cameras. He walks out in all black, no flashy designer suit, no entourage, just stillness. You lean forward, you can feel the weight before he even speaks. Then he does. I didn't plan the rally. I didn't touch a dollar, but I showed up and people followed me. That's on me. The room goes quiet. Some of those people got hurt, some got locked up. And now my family's being dragged through the mud. I won't hide behind silence anymore. You look around. Reporters stop typing. Cameras zoom in. And then he drops it. I'm stepping away from basketball, effective immediately. You blink. Wait, what? Not because I'm guilty, but because this fight is bigger than my career. I've made millions playing a game. Now I want to give back something more. Your jaw tightens. He announces a new legal fund, a team of attorneys to fight for every protester arrested at the rally. He announces full cooperation with investigators, even says he'll testify, against his own family if he has to. And in that moment, the entire narrative flips. He's no longer the man being chased by the story. He's controlling it. Whether you believe him or not, doesn't matter. The internet is already split. Some call it brave, others call it damage control. But one thing's clear. Karmelo Anthony just sacrificed everything. His image, his income, his comfort. And maybe, just maybe, he's becoming something the world didn't expect. Not a basketball player, not a martyr, but a man willing to stand in the fire and not flinch. The story ends here. But for Karmelo, this might just be the beginning.